and welcome to my first attempt at a video on Football Manager. I've been working on a Journeyman / Pentagon challenge save for about a week or two now, after being inspired by the videos of the likes of Loki Doki online and his awesome Journeyman saves. So I started that up and I thought, I'm going to try and document this. So I started up a wee Twitter. You can check that out at Greg Rallim and see Walt's adventures on Football Manager. It's been a bit interesting. I've made a few attempts at doing videos. They've not turned out well. It's because the setup here is very basic. This is just a bog standard laptop that I bought last year at the start of the old COVID pandemic to try and help with working from home for my partner, and for me to do some studying for work-related courses. But treated myself to Football Manager 22 just before Christmas. The first time getting a new Football Manager for about 5 years after I became hooked with FM17 a couple of months prior. So, the Journeyman, the story so far. As you'll see, I am Walt Miller and I am the manager of Jeonbuk Hyundai Motors in South Korea in the K-League. I've just moved there. It's Team 3 in Journeyman in Season 4. Shall we see the story so far? Yes, let's. So, as part of the Journeyman Challenge, Pentagon Challenge, we start off unemployed, no coaching qualifications, and obviously the goal is to win 5 Champions Leagues, 5 different continents around the world. So load it up with South American leagues, the Asian leagues, and the South African leagues. That's we're going to have to get the African, Asian, North American, South American, and European Champions Leagues to get this achievement. First job I got after starting the game up in January 2021 was at Suz Dongwu in the Chinese First Division. They were sitting pretty brutal, but with a great bit of management skills, we saved Dongwu from relegation. I think I was 17th when I took over, and we managed to secure a 15th spot. Really wasn't that good at all. If we go back, there we go. I think Dongwu, there we go. This is when I took over, 17th of July. They just won their first game. I don't know how long, and decided to sack their manager, and they hired me. We had a good wee run to start with, actually. We went a few draws, a loss, a couple of wins, punctuated by another loss, and then it all kind of went wrong in September. Couldn't get a win for love or money, and it was looking like relegation was a distinct possibility. But then 3 great wins to end the season, and amazingly clean sheets. I don't know how they happened, but we did. Thankfully, we had a relatively good young goalkeeper who I brought in, got rid of the experience. You see lots of silly names here. I decided to have a bit of fun with names. But yeah, awesome signings. Jimmy Shand went out, Scottish legend. Brought in a few free transfers. Couldn't bring them in. The window had closed, actually. What am I talking about? The window had closed, so I had to go with what I had. But I ended the season with a couple of good free transfers, like Diego Talisca, brought in on a free, and Gu Jing, he subsequently retired. He wasn't that great. He got 30 appearances for me, then was released, and that was the end of that. This was a good, better window for me. For 19th of November 2022 saw me resign as manager of Dongwu after 6 days after winning Manager of the Year for the National First Division in China. They rejected my request for a new contract, so I decided that's it, spat the dummy, resigned, thinking good reputation for winning this, I'm going to get better jobs, no bother. I've only got the 1 coaching qualification. What did I have at that point? There we go. I acquired my National C licence the 27th of November 2021. They wouldn't give me another coaching license at all in 2022, so that was another reason they rejected my request at the start of November to get the National B license. So I decided, that's it, I'm away, see you later. Couldn't get a job for love or money, but thankfully the team that finished third, they sacked their manager, so Guy Howe were happy to appoint me as a manager just 2 months later. Didn't go particularly well. Initially, there was extreme hatred for me by all the staff and players at Guy Howe. They were not supportive of me. It was quite a fraught dressing room. I brought Andre with me from Dongwu. He became my vice captain, tried to steady the ship. Then I brought in Ronaldo later in the year, also from Dongwu, who were surprisingly. Sorry, that was it. Ronaldo had been on loan from Brazil, so I managed to bring Ronaldo in. He was happy to work with me again. Dongwu, Guy Howe were excellent to work for, decent finances, crappy facilities as usual down there. But every time I asked for a coaching course, we got it. So you'll notice there, in the first season, we managed to acquire the National B coaching and the National A. Ronaldo and Andre, who had brought with me, became the vice captain and captain. Support grew for me. So 2024 saw us promoted to the Chinese Super League. Expected to be in a relegation battle. That didn't pan out at all, which I guess is not really difficult to manage in the Chinese Super League. Foreigners rules, there's only 4 allowed, so essentially they are going to be your standout players. The rest, you're battling to get semi-decent Chinese players at exorbitant money. So it was a case of fitting in my young players that were semi-good around some good foreigners. But another good year for my CV, as we brought in the Continental C coaching license and the Continental B coaching license before the end of the 2024 season. Had a wee fallout with Andre when, as part of Ronaldo's new contract, he asked to be made captain, which I never noticed. So, and poor Andre got stripped of his captaincy, but Shaquille Marshall Rutty was not a free transfer. He was brought in for 675,000, so it was actually quite a big outlay. This was an A recommendation from my scouts. He made 28 appearances on the right wing with 11 goals, 6 assists and 2 man of the matches, a 7.2 average rating, which was pretty awesome for me in the Chinese Super League. Not particularly good stats, but that shows you the fact he was that effective. This man was one of my signings of the season. Gape Goganwe, I'm going to call him. The stats have dropped a little in the last year, from what I remember. But look at that leadership in the centre of the park. Look at that work rate. Look at that teamwork. Decent passing, decent tackling, decent technique. We got used as a ball-winning midfielder because that's what his top ratings were back then, and he absolutely bossed it for me. Fell away towards the end of the season when I had to go to a different shape, but 31 appearances, a 7.02 average rating doesn't do him justice. He was excellent, and this was my next signing in February. Rodolfo Filemon to play at centre back, another free transfer from the Brazilian leagues. Steady, but excellent for the Chinese Super League because it was crap, as I mentioned. 7.25 rating. He got a man of the match. He got a goal. 29 appearances. Working alongside some of my youth players. This was a sore one. My biggest record sale to date. 2 million sale. That was the selling of Wang Zi, as I called him. Went off to the DL Pro. Not great. Never a £2 million player. But that is how inflated values of Chinese players are in the Chinese league. He's now worth up to 7.4 million with those stats. Absolutely nuts. But he did well for me. He got 23 appearances. Then he went off for £2 million, and he's done nothing since. So the joke's on them. But he was my hot prospect. Promotion to the Super League. Objective to avoid relegation. We've absolutely smashed it, which shows just how weak the Chinese Super League actually is. Beijing, opening day of the season, lost 2-1 at home, but then proceeded to turn the corner, get some good wins, intermixed with some friendlies there just to keep the players ticking over due to a big gap in games for some reason. Yeah, turned the corner there, got some steady results. And you'll notice after this loss here to Zhejiang, went on another strong run of wins. They're undefeated for the rest of the month. And you'll notice there, Wednesday the 8th, 2024, away to Dongwu, the previous team in the Chinese FA Cup 4th round, and we turned them over 2-1. Absolutely dominated that. It's a travesty it was only 2-1. That's just the way of it. Caused a huge upset then in the 5th round, knocking out Shanghai Port, home of Oscar, who they'd signed from Chelsea. They sacked their manager after that, incidentally. Decided to be a bit cheeky, applied for that job, didn't even get an interview. And then to rub salt into the wounds, they turned me over the following Saturday, 2-1 at home. Much tears shed. Huge run of wins then, which I was delighted with. I could not get over that. 7, 8, 9 wins in a row to take me into the Chinese FA Cup semi-final and push me right up the Super League table. Little did I realise that my gegenpress positive formation had actually changed somehow to cautious, and that's why I'd done so well. Put it back to positive, and things did not go so well there. A series of draws, scraped a win, another draw, and at that point slipped down the Super League table from 2nd to about 4th or 5th, flipped it back to cautious, and that saw me out for the rest of the season. Undefeated, multiple wins except from this 1-0 loss away to Guangzhou. Lifted the Chinese FA Cup. We knew the FA Cup final in China was a 2-leg affair. It was, hey ho, 5-0 win at home to round off the season, and the Super League ended like this. There you go, 3rd place for Guizhou. One of the favourites for relegation early in the season, having just come up, but no, we stormed it. 76 points, 1 point behind DL Pro, who incidentally won the league on the last game of the season, where Beijing dropped points. DL Pro won. Beijing had led it for the entire season, so that was absolutely wild in China. They'd been gutted. DL Pro delighted. My fellow promotion team, Guizhou, relegated. So qualified for the Asian Champions League. Possible crack at my first stage in the Pentagon Challenge. I wasn't really happy with my chances, given the foreigner rules here in China. The squad is pretty weak, so I started looking at the K-League. So attention was drawn to K-League due to being approached by Daegu, I'm going to call them, sitting 2nd there. League has started obviously, but they were just below mid-table. Sacked their manager, approached me, turned it down because we're still only halfway through the Chinese season, and I thought the title challenge was on with Guizhou, which would be a massive upset. So I stayed with that, saw it out. Come the end of the season, I decided I want to look at other things. So I've come to look at what was going on in the K-League, and then I noticed Jian Buck season had just finished, and John, I don't know what I'm going to call him. We'll call him Jian Buck. We'll call him JB. That's simple. JB had finished 2nd, 2 points behind Pohang, and had sacked their manager. So took a chance, thought, I'm going to apply for it. Got offered the interview, and then they offered me the job. So I've just come onto them not that long ago. So there you go. Resigned as manager, hired as JB manager on the 5th of January, and here we are. So exploring JB, quite exciting, boys. Quite exciting. Look at these facilities. Club info. There he is, the manager, Walt Miller, the Scottish Jurgen Klopp. Facilities. There we go. So 42,477 all-seater stadium, Jeonju World Cup Stadium, owned by us, no rent, so finances instantly better, good corporate facilities, superb training facilities, excellent youth facilities, good academy coaching, and excellent youth recruitment. Absolutely buzzing about that. We will be looking to get academy coaching improved very, very shortly. I got a huge staff budget for bringing in my staff from China, but needless to say, they were all utter crap. Not particularly great here, but these stats are all so much better than the coaching I had when I was in China. Need a new physio, need a new sports scientist. He's decent. Need a new scout. Need a new recruitment analysis. Technical director's not great. Loan manager's not great. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be as excited as I was. Back to looking at my own profile. I've taken a £900 a week pay cut to come to Korea. It's a bit disappointing, but I wasn't going to give up the opportunity to get this job, so swallowed my pride, took the pay cut. Reputation's getting there, 50% reputation now, strong in all these categories, loyalty to players, right down there. Why is that? A high player turnover. Yeah, well, that's fair, because in China you had to release a lot of utter crap. Zhang Cheng is the only person to have a positive time with me, a positive impression of me after over 4 years in China. That's because he got to issue. Okay. He wasn't a bad wee right back, reserve right back, retired just after the last season due to a long injury. Anyway, what was I going to do? Yes, not relationships. Everyone's distant with me. I was looking at, yes, studying for my Continental A license. Hopefully I should have that soon. That'll boost my standing with the players. Because at the moment we're going to dynamics. Good squad dynamics. They all hate me. 13 players oppose me. I am failing to positively influence a number of players, and my reputation is quite low in relation to my players. Guys, I've literally just joined today. It's only 9:45 in the morning on the day I've joined the club, and 13 people oppose me already. Hard times. Hard times. Captain Pak Song Ho, decent. So much better than the players I had. Look at that. Decent goalkeeper. Happy days. 27-year-old goal. He's a national team goalkeeper. Superb. Very happy with this team. I think definitely objectives of winning the K-League this season are achievable. I'm very happy with that. Looking quite promising for our first tilt at the K-League and the Asian Champions League with JB. Squad looks pretty decent. We've got a few foreigners in here, so I'm going to have to move them on. Daniel is Millifar. He's not really good enough to justify a foreigner place, so he is going to be gone. I think I can have 4 foreigners this year, so I'll cut him down. I'll save some room. This is my key striker, Eddie Milson. Decent. Is he good enough? I don't think so. I'm going to see if I can get some Korean youth internationals in. If I get them, I will be looking to get rid of him. Barrow is aging a bit, but I can do a job on the right wing. I'm liking that 16 pace. He's probably going to stay for a season. Our other foreigner, Bruno Lamas, I think is going to be good enough to justify that spot for the next year. We'll see how that goes. I say hopefully I'm going to get a few years here, because I think we can do some good things with this club. Definitely think we're going to win a few titles. It's going to be the Asian Champions League that is going to be the push. And that will dictate how long I'm going to stay at this club. And I think the next step is going to be to head towards South Africa and get that over with before my reputation gets too big to have a job there. Teams for next season. This is how it's looking. I'm straight into the group stage. Awesome sauce. 5 teams from South Korea in there. 4 from Australia. China got a couple in. Could face my old team, Guizhou, in the Champions League. Wouldn't that be sweet? And my old rivals, Beijing. Hopefully get to smash them. Interesting, yeah, Beijing finished second. They've got to go into the qualifiers because of my FA Cup win. Poaching that group stage spot. Excellent. Iran. They've got some strong teams. 4 teams from Iran. 4 teams from Japan. All sorts of random teams. Qatar and Saudi Arabia. They'll probably have strong teams in this, I'd imagine. So exciting times when that draw gets made. Hope you can come and join me for the ride. Not anticipating great things. Like I said, this is just a bit of fun for those that enjoy Football Manager as much as I do. And kind of for my own benefit as well. I kind of want to document this just to see how I get on. Have a bit of fun on this little save. So there we go. My first attempt at a video for YouTube is in the books. We'll go edit this now, cut this down because there's been a lot of rambling, a lot of false starts. I hope you've enjoyed it. A quick summary of how the seasons have gone so far. This is where the real work starts now, the push in the K-League. I hope you can join me for the next few videos. I'll try and do some semi-regularly. Like I said, this is just a bit of fun. This is not going to be daily outputs like all the awesome creators out there. But stick with me, we'll have some fun. I'm about to be terrorised by a toddler, so definitely time to go. Cheerio.